Hi, my name is Alia Quintanilla. I'm an occupational therapy student. Thank you so much for meeting with me. Um, so before we begin, is it okay for me to report this and submit it to my professor for her to view for this assignment?
Yes, it is.
Perfect, thank you. So we will begin by, we're going to begin this assessment by, you're just going to state your name, and then I'll write my name, your date of birth. But first, I'll go over what the assessment is. So the COPM stands for the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure. And the goal of it is to identify any problem areas in your occupational performance. And what I mean by occupational performance is activities of daily living. So that includes getting ready, sleep, school, work, basically all of the things that you do on a daily basis is going to be included in occupation. So we're going to be trying to identify some problem areas that way we can work on goals to improve those areas so that you have a better quality of life by the end of occupational therapy. That's the goal of the COPM. So I'll be asking you just some questions about your day whenever we're doing this. If you feel that there are any problem areas, you don't be afraid to discuss them. That's what this is for, is to identify those areas so we can create goals to help you work through them. So first we'll begin by asking what your name is. So for the sake of this interview, would you like to use an anonymous name?
Yes, please.
All right, and then what name would you like to use?
John Blue.
John Blue. All right, and then what is your date of birth, John?
May 30th,
Okay.
1997.
Wonderful. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my name on here. Again, my name is Alia Quintanilla. It's a long last name. And then I'm an occupational therapy student, so I'm putting the letters ATS. And then I'm going to write the date of this assessment. It's 2021. Okay, so again, this is the form that I'm going to be using to take notes. This isn't only for me. We're collaborating to help you identify those problem areas. So you can definitely feel free to ask me to see this at any point. It's not confidential just for me because it is teamwork. Like, you can look at this, and then we are going to go over it at the end. And I just really want to make sure that I get everything correct. So I will be, if I feel that I don't understand some of the things that you're saying or any more clarification, I'll ask that, just because I want to make sure that I get all this information correct to better help you. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So first, what we're going to do is, I just want you to walk me through a basic day for you. So you wake up in the morning, and what's the first thing that you do?
First thing I try and do every morning is I try and start my day with a shower.
Okay.
Some days I wake up and I don't really feel like doing that, so that may be something that I do skip. That, along with like a face wash, face care routine.
And then, I'm sorry, so do you also feel that you skip your face care routine, or do you feel that you're consistent with that?
Usually I skip that kind of. If there's a day where I wake up and I don't feel like showering, it usually just kind of goes from there, and I don't do my face wash routine either.
Okay.
Usually those would both fall on the same day.
Okay, gotcha. How often do you feel that you skip that area?
I would say maybe around twice a week, yeah.
And then So moving forward from that, what else does your morning look like? So your morning routine.
Beyond that, I don't have a whole lot more for my morning routine. I have classes sometimes, lectures on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
And that's really it for any schedule commitments. The rest of my classes are just like online, no lectures, so it's just my time whenever I want to get around to that.
Okay, so you have lectures on Tuesday and Thursday. What time are those lectures?
Those are noon to 2.
12 to 2. All right. So what do you do between waking up in the morning and, we'll say on Tuesday and Thursday, what do you do between, getting ready for the day and then going to school? So what does that look like for you? Or, I'm sorry, you said that you have classes, they're online classes?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not physically driving anywhere to go to school? Or do you go to a place to watch your lecture online?
I used to do in-person classes. I'm currently not anymore. Okay. I kind of found myself being in-person classes, I would usually be a little stressed out, a little anxious about situations that would happen during class. I'd worry my professor, how they felt about me, if they liked me at all. Because there would be times where I would come into class not prepared, and I would be asked questions that I wouldn't know the answers to. And I felt like I was disappointing my professor.
Okay. So you feel that you're disappointing your professor whenever you go to classes in person. How do you feel about taking classes online then? I'm sorry, you can go.
It works a little bit better for me. I usually tend to find myself not being asked those questions, or just generally being asked questions at all during lecture classes. It's also kind of why I try and find online classes that I know won't have lectures, because that way it's just, I can go about the class in my own time, and there's no commitment to any lectures.
Okay, and then do you feel that you are more prepared for those classes? So for example, whenever you're taking tests or doing projects, do you feel like you're prepared for those asynchronous classes where you do not have the online, or you don't have the lecture, like on Zoom component to it?
I do feel that I am less prepared in the end, because I am missing that lecture time and that window to be able to ask questions. But to me, I would rather have online classes than possibly have slightly higher grades.
Okay. Gotcha. And then, what about employment? Do you do any, so this is paid or unpaid work, which could also include like volunteering. Do you hold an actual job, or do you volunteer in addition to your classes?
Currently, no, I don't have any job. I really struggle in interviews. I've been trying to find one. Interviews are really, really stressful for me, though. I'm really afraid of saying the wrong answer on any of the questions that I'm asked, and just disappointing like a potential employer. And so with that, I've been kind of avoiding interviews, but also trying to like go to them, but I find myself caught in the middle with that.
Okay. And then do you do anything to prepare for your interviews, or do you just go?
I usually find preparing for my interviews to stress me out even more, so part of me just tries to wing it and hope that it goes okay.
Gotcha. And then volunteer work, do you not do any volunteer work?
No, I did not.
And then what is your living situation like? Do you have a roommate, live with family, live alone?
I live alone in an apartment.
Okay, so you would be responsible for all of the household management then, correct?
Yes. Household management, everything. Financially, I'm independent.
Okay.
I just have a studio apartment.
Okay, and then what does household management look like to you? So how do you maintain that apartment, like cleanliness-wise?
Sometimes I do some sweeping. Every couple days I'll try and knock out all the dishes at once. But stuff does tend to pile up until it reaches a certain point, and then I'll do some things. But I guess it's not great. It's not like super clean, but it's not like really bad either.
Okay. So it sounds like you do not have like a cleaning schedule. It's just kind of whenever you see it, you'll do it type of thing.
I would say more so when I have the energies to do it.
Okay.
Usually I'm pretty tired, like between like class and studying and stuff, and sometimes I find myself a little bit of energy, and that's when I'll try and get some cleaning done.
Gotcha. And what about preparing meals? What does that look like for you?
I try and plan out meals. I do a lot of my grocery ordering online, so it kind of forces me to plan out what I want to do.
Okay.
But with that, I usually find myself going out and getting food a lot, just because it's easier to do that and it takes up less time.
So you buy groceries and but you tend to eat out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you said that you use online platforms to order your groceries. Is there a reason for this? Is it personal preference?
Grocery stores have tended to kind of overwhelm me, and once COVID happened and online ordering and like at least like curbside ordering became a more popular thing, that definitely turned to my go-to method for getting groceries, just because it would alleviate that stress and I'd be able to do it from the comfort of my home.
Right. There's less people, so it sounds more of a social aspect, not. Do you feel that you're able to move around easily? It's not like a mobility or like a physical issue that you're facing with it?
I don't have any physical issues with moving around. It is more of a social, public thing.
Okay, gotcha. So because you take classes online and you're what kind of things do you do just to relax, like some leisure time for you?
Usually it'll be like kind of sitting at the apartment and watching something on TV. I used to enjoy like playing disc golf, but I find myself pretty exhausted now, and that I'm usually not up for that. I have friends that invite me out sometimes as well, but usually I kind of do it once I'm already settled in for the day. and I'm not really like in a mood to be going out anymore.
Gotcha. So your friends will invite you out, but it's usually later in the day when you're already, settled down.
Mm-hmm.
So you used to, we'll go back to disc golf. So you said that you used to play disc golf, and I'm sorry if I missed this, but did you say that this is something that your friends invited you to, or is this an activity that you would do alone that you no longer participate in?
I did. It was like a separate friend group that I did that with.
Okay.
I guess as a way to think about it is like I had the friends that would like invite me to go out places, and then I had the friends that was like specifically for disc golf.
Okay.
And so with that, now that I don't really go out anymore, I don't really talk to them either.
So because you don't, so it sounds to me like the only time you really saw them was whenever you played disc golf, and because you're no longer doing disc golf, you don't have that like that socialization aspect with that friend group anymore.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just write that down to make sure I got it. And then what does sleep look like for you? So just to wrap up your day is going to bed, which is...
It kind of varies a little bit. I try and keep a consistent time going to bed, but...
Then what time would that be?
Usually around midnight.
Okay.
And then depending on circumstances, that can be pushed back, whether it's school or whether I'm just not tired yet. I would say usually the latest I find myself staying up is like between 3 to 4.
Then what time do you usually feel like you go to bed?
I set a goal to wake up at 8:30ish. Usually that doesn't happen either. I would say it ends up being closer to 11 to 12. Sometimes I'm waking up and like my class I had at 12 to 2, like I'll wake up and quickly have to like get ready and log on to Zoom for it.
All right. And then is there any other areas of your life that you would like to discuss before I review all this information with you and I can help you identify maybe some problem areas that I noticed in this?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, no.
Okay, so based on some of the things that you've told me, it sounds to me that you struggle with self-care in the mornings, and you try to push it off, and then whenever it gets to the evening time, it's you're just ready for bed, and so you don't do that. So do you think maybe we can include that in our problem areas? Okay, so we'll say shower and self-care. Okay. It also sounds to me that you want a job, but because interviews get overwhelming for you, you tend to not prepare for them, and you don't. So you don't really do as well as you would hope to do in them.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll put job/interview. And then we're going to try to identify 5.
Okay.
Okay, and then it sounds like you are With school, you have online classes, and you choose to do online classes because of the in-person environment of school may feel stressful and overwhelming to you because you feel that maybe you're not as prepared as you could be. So what do you think we should put for that? Do you think we should say maybe we could maybe preparedness, how well you're prepared for class could be a problem area? So we could say you're not fully prepared for school. Do you think that accurately reflects what you're feeling?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Or we'll say school preparation. And then it also sounds to me like your sleep schedule, whenever you try to go to sleep, it ranges, you said from midnight to 4 a.m. And then you try to wake up between 8 and 8:30, but usually you wake up around noon. So do you think maybe we could say your sleep schedule is another area that we could work on together to improve that? Okay.
Definitely.
We're almost done. And then the last area that I noticed is it sounds to me that you're not really seeing friends as often as you used to. So you had disc golf and you're no longer doing disc golf with that group of friends. And whenever your other group of friends invites you out, you tend to decline the invitation because it's too late in the day. So maybe we can just let's see. Maybe we can kind of group those together and we can work on that as kind of like one big goal of, we can say seeing friends. Okay, so just to review with you, I have, some of the occupational performance problems that I have are shower/self-care, finding a job and the interview, school preparation, sleep schedule, and then seeing friends. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through and you're going to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10. We're going to use this sheet for your reference. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not important to you at all and 10 being extremely important, how would you rate the importance of showering and self-care?
I would say that's probably a 7 for me.
A 7? Okay. And then what about finding a job or doing well in an interview and finding a job? How important would you rate that on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say that's a 10.
That's a 10? Okay. And then how prepared you are for school. So school preparation, importance from 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
I would say maybe a 5.
A 5, okay. And then what about your sleep schedule? How important is that to you on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say that's probably about a 5 as well.
A 5, okay. And then what about seeing your friends on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say 7.
A 7? Okay. Next, what we're going to do is you're going to rate your performance in them. So we're going to go through the list again. And on a scale of 1 to 10, you're going to tell me how well you're able to do this activity, so how well you're able to perform it. So 1 being not able to do it at all, and 10 being you're able to do it extremely well. Okay. So how would you rate your ability to shower and wash your face routinely?
I guess is this like a consistency base number? I'm just trying to think of a way to rate it. If you could just go through it one more time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I know, it's kind of confusing. So for performance, for shower and self-care, it's how well, it's also, so the thing with the COPM is very kind of up to your interpretation.
Gotcha.
So you can see it as how well you're actually able to shower. So whenever you're in the shower, how well you're performing it on a weekly basis. So maybe not like exact percentages, but if you're only showering, 4 to 5 times a week, maybe you would, like you're able to do it, but then you would maybe rate it a little bit lower if you're looking at it that way.
Gotcha. Okay. I would say 5 for that then.
A 5, okay. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your performance in a job interview?
I would say that is a 2.
A 2, okay. And then what about your ability to prepare for school?
Let's say 7.
And then what about your ability to maintain a sleep schedule?
5.
A 5. And then what about how are you performing in seeing friends? So how, I guess this is another kind of, it's a tricky one to rate.
I guess I would probably say I'm not really seeing any friends at all currently, so I would say probably a 1 would be
a 1 with seeing friends because you're not seeing them at all. And then next, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over your satisfaction. So again, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you're not satisfied at all, to 10 being you're extremely satisfied, how satisfied are you with your self-care and showering habits and routines?
4.
4. And then what about how satisfied are you on a scale of 1 to 10 with your ability to do a job interview?
2.
A 2. And then how satisfied are you with how you prepare for school?
6.
A 6. And then what about how satisfied are you with your sleep schedule?
I would say 4.
And then how satisfied are you with seeing friends?
2.
A 2. Okay, so just looking at these scores, it looks to me that the most important item, or one of the most important problems on this list that we have here is your ability to do well in interviews and get a job. And then following that is maintaining a good, like shower and self-care routine, as well as seeing friends. You rated both of those as a 7. And then you rated school preparation and sleep schedule as a 5. So based on this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some recommendations and strategies that you can use to maybe increase your satisfaction with them or increase your performance with them, hopefully to increase your overall quality of life. So I'll give you those strategies, and then we can discuss them the next time that we meet. And you can tell me how well they're going for you, if we need to tweak them. We can discuss all of that.
Gotcha.
Well, do you have any questions or comments for me regarding this?
I don't believe so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, John Blue.
Thank you.
Cool. That was long. Sorry.